Yes, just now. Thank you. Okay, let's get back to our discussion, what we were having. So we were talking about how proposed dividend is no more an adjusting event. So I was talking about the global financial reporting standards, that is your IFRS. Okay. And I was talking about 2015 in India, when Ind AS is brought in, when Ind AS is implemented, Ind AS is basically a replica of IFRS. Almost the financial reporting standards what are there internationally, almost the same standards are there in Indian Ind AS also. However, it is slightly tailor made. To meet the requirements of Indian entities. Okay. When Ind AS is brought in, Ind AS also stated that proposed dividend is not an adjusting event. Okay. Now, when Ind AS has again mentioned that proposed dividend is not adjusting event, then they have gone back and seen what they have mentioned in AS4. Okay. They have mentioned in AS4. Then they realized that mentioning proposed dividend as adjusting event is wrong. Okay. Somewhere in 2015, it is announced that AS4 is now going to have a prospective amendment, which is proposed dividend is no more an adjusting event, is what finally they have concluded. Okay. So hence what I am trying to convey here is, right now proposed dividend is no more an adjusting event for you in your AS4. Clear? Any doubts? All right, let's go ahead with next standard, AS5. AS5, there is a very lengthy name for it. Net profit or loss for the period, prior period items, and changes in accounting policies. Okay. So a lengthy name. Now we are supposed to understand multiple things in this standard. First one, net profit or loss for the period. Okay. Second, what is a prior period item? What is a prior period item? Third, changes in accounting estimates. Fourth, changes in accounting policies. This is broadly what the standard talks about. Okay. And while talking on this, tax implication on these matters is not considered. That is a exclusion, specific scope exclusion. Okay. Tax matters are not discussed here. We are only talking about net profit or loss for the period, or about a prior period item, and then about changes in accounting estimates, and then changes in accounting policies. Now, first of all, what does net profit for the period mean? Net profit for the period, profit or loss for the period means it includes all ordinary items which generally exist in a P&L. It includes all ordinary items which generally exist in a P&L. On considering all these items, the profit what you make is what we call as net profit for the period. Okay. Now, when I say ordinary items, what are ordinary items? every business activity, every business expense or income which you make is basically a normal ordinary activity only. Okay, so all items of incomes and expenses, then you might have some extraordinary items also in the in the course of business. Maybe at times there could be a uh, extraordinary item of some fire, or there is some cyclone which has hit your business. There is a recent cyclone. Okay, so like that, if there is any impact in the financial business, in the financial statements, then such items are considered as part of your P&L. Okay, so these are what generally you are considering to arrive at your net profit or loss. Apart from that, you are supposed to disclose, ordinary items and extraordinary items separately in the financial statements. That means an item of income or expense which is ordinary to be disclosed separately, an item of income or expense which is extraordinary also is to be disclosed separately. Okay, so this is what it means when he asks you to identify these two. Clear? And then your ordinary activities are to be disclosed keeping in nature, based on the nature of item and all. You're supposed to identify them and disclose them independently. And same way, if you have any extraordinary items also in the financial statements, that is to be disclosed separately as a separate line item in the financial statements. That is in P&L. In P&L, whatever extraordinary items are there, they are supposed to be disclosed separately. Okay. Now, next, what does a prior period item mean? Prior period item. A prior period item is basically either an income or expense which incurs in the current period, because of two things. Number one, there should happen an error at that point of time. Or there should happen a omission in the preparation of financial statements of that financial year. Now, when I say prior period, how old prior can I take? Any old. Say you are right now sitting in 2020-21. Okay. I identified that last year, that is in 1920 financials, I missed out a prior period expense. I missed out a particular expense. That is a omission. Yes or no? You omitted to identify it last year. Hence, you want it to be shown now. Yes, please show. Okay. However, any such prior period items are to be disclosed in the financial statements as a separate line item. Okay. You can bring it into the current period's financials. I don't deny. However, it should clearly indicate that, look, this is not this year's expense. This was last year's expense. But however, last year I forgot to account it there. Hence, I am recording it here. Okay. This is what a prior period item is basically about. What does an error mean? Error means some mistake which was done, is what we call an error. Now, error and fraud both are different. We are only talking about errors. Errors means unintentional mistakes. For example, I'm supposed to take salary of 50 lakhs, but however, by mistake, I have missed out to press 10. What happens? 5 lakhs. 45 lakhs, your profit is boosted up wrongly. Okay. So there is a mistake which you identified this year, in which case you can take that balance 45 lakhs as expense in the current period. However, it is mentioned as prior period expense recorded now. Clear? So this is what standard expects you to do whenever you have a prior period item. First of all, let us clarify this. What are the prior period items? These are basically incomes and expenses which arise out of either an error in the past or a omission in the past during preparation of financial statements of that particular financial year. Next. Now, what should I do with this? What should I do with this prior period items? You are supposed to take them to your P&L. You are supposed to take them to P&L. However, a separate line item should be disclosed. You cannot club these with your this year's expenses. Okay, you cannot club them with your this year's expenses. However, they are supposed to be disclosed independently. Okay, that is what expected from prior period items. Next, can I have an impact in my financial statements? That is in my assets and liabilities. No. Does not, this will not have any impact on your asset or liability, and it is not included as part of your assets and liability also. It is not included as part of your assets and liability also. All it is required is you are supposed to disclose separately in your P&L. That's all. Okay. So this is with your prior period items. Next. What to do with changes in accounting estimates? What are changes in accounting estimates? How to deal with them? Okay. Now, whenever you have changes in accounting estimates, it means that your estimate is being changed. That means your estimation that some expense would be so much, or your, for example, you have estimated that wages payable in the month of March. Okay, in the month of March, or else not wages. In fact, the wages are anyways will have a fixed rate. Instead, take electricity bill. Electricity bill for the month of March. You are supposed to estimate, because only in the month of April you get to know what is March month's electricity bill. Yes or no? Now, this electricity bill for the month of March, you estimated it to be 2,000 rupees. Whether it really is 2,000, less than 2,000, greater than 2,000, don't bother. Okay, you are making an estimate that I am thinking that in the past, if you see, I have been incurring an expense of 500 rupees, 600 rupees, 700 rupees, or so XYZ number, or else I have always been getting an electricity bill of somewhere between 2,000 and 2,100 only. In the month of March, I am thinking that I'll get only 2,000 rupees of electricity bill. Hence, I will provide 2,000 rupees as electricity bill payable for the month of March 2020. Yes, valid. Yes, valid. Take another example. Bad debts. Bad debts. Say I am providing for bad debts. I estimate that out of my total debtors of 1 lakh, 5% might not pay is what I'm estimating. 5% might not pay is what I'm estimating. In which case, I would provide for bad debts. I would provide for bad debts to the extent of 5%. Okay, I would provide for 5%. Okay. Next, look at AS10 revised. AS10 revised. In revised AS10, your depreciation is not charged based on a fixed rate given by MCA. Instead, it is completely dependent on life of the asset, that is useful life of the asset. Useful life of the asset. Now, when I say useful life, this useful life is purely an estimate. Okay, is purely an estimate. That means I, as an entity, for example, I bought a car, Baleno car. Okay, the Baleno car, what I bought, I am using it for, I think I am going to use it for next 6 years. The same car, if a travel agent buys the same car, he will use it maximum for 3 years only. That means from my perspective, from my business perspective, the useful life of car is 6 years. from a travel agent's perspective, the useful life is only 3 years. Yes or no? All these are basically estimates, and these estimates change from entity to entity, from business house to business house. Okay. So whenever you have an accounting estimate, there can be changes in those estimates. Okay. There can be changes in those estimates, and any such change is supposed to be adopted only prospectively. Okay. Is only supposed to be estimated prospectively and not retrospectively at all. Now, a couple of years back, again, there is a small amendment here also. There is a clarification given by ASB, that is Accounting Standards Board, that change in method of depreciation, or change in method of inventory valuation are actually supposed to be considered as changes in estimates, but not changes in accounting policies. Reason: these are actually estimates. If you are calculating method of depreciation using WDV or SLM, whatever it be, if you are using a method of depreciation, you are estimating that your assets usefulness would be, say for example, you are depreciating on a straight line basis. That means your usage of asset is estimated even throughout all the years of useful life. Yes or no? Say in the other side, your method of depreciation adopted is WDV. What does that indicate? It actually indicates that my usage of that particular asset is higher in the first year, keeps reducing slowly over the remaining number of years for which it can be used. Okay. In which case I am considering the depreciation on a residuary, reducing balance method. That is, your value keeps reducing as the number of years pass by. Okay. It's WDV. Okay. So that is what it means when a method of depreciation is adopted. Now, if at all you are changing your method of depreciation from SLM to WDV or WDV to SLM or any other method, okay, this is basically, you are now thinking that adopting method of depreciation from SLM, adopting method of depreciation as SLM is not appropriate for my business. Hence, I feel it is better to adopt WDV. That means by adopting WDV, my financials will be more true and fair. Hence, I am moving from SLM to WDV. That means you are trying to give a more realistic financial position and financial profit, position and profit. Okay. In such case, it is only to be considered as a change in accounting estimate, but not change in accounting policy at all. Okay. Now you would get, sir, if these are also accounting estimates only, what are policies? What are changes in accounting policies? Now, take examples. There would be people, if you look at some very well established companies, they would keep saying that my company has a maternal leave policy of 6 months. They take pride in telling that. Okay. On the other side, the same company might have a policy of paternal leave. That means the just born baby's father also will be given leave because he has to assist his wife. Okay. Of course, what happens actually is different story. They'll enjoy. But the fact is, that leave of paternal leave is given for the taking care of wife and child, newly born child, or during those times. Okay. Now, paternal leave is basically 15 days is what the company might have said. These are actually policies. Okay. And On the other side, I may increase these number of days from 6 months to 9 months for women. Okay. And I may increase the number of days for men from 15 days to 3 months. 3 months. What happens then? What happens then? It is basically change in accounting policy or change in a policy of an entity. Okay. But not otherwise. Okay. So this is about estimates. Now let us move to the end. To the end. What is a change in accounting policy? What is a change in accounting policy? Now, a change in accounting policy is something, a change necessitated by standard, that is suggested or required by standard. A change required by a standard. Then you call it as change in accounting policy. Second, such changes would result in more appropriate presentation of financial statements. That means your true and fair view. Your true and fair view over this over the financial positions would be even more better. In such case, you would go for changes in accounting policies. Okay. So these are two things which are supposed to be satisfied to identify a change in accounting policy, to call something a change in accounting policy. That means number one, it should be something suggested or required to be done. It is necessitated by the standard. Okay. Second, true and fair view. Okay. So this is what true and fair view or more appropriate identification. Okay. So this is how we can understand AS5, net profit or loss for the period, prior period items, and then changes in accounting estimates and policies. Okay. So any doubts, please ask. Two situations where it is not treated as change in accounting policy. You want not treated, simple. Again, take those only. Change in accounting, change in method of depreciation, change in method of inventory valuation. Okay.